Hello everybody and welcome back down into the basement dungeon for a quick look at the aquaponic garden. I apologize for the hasty start to this. I really should have done this about an hour ago when I first started the project, but knee-jerk reaction. Anyway, I'll show you what's going on. I came down to check the fish in the aquaponic garden this morning and discovered that my water was absolutely filthy. Now normally this thing is a floating salad bar and otherwise the water itself is pretty clear. Now, like I say, knee-jerk reaction, I just instantly started cleaning this. But it occurs to me that I really should share during this moment the lesson that is to go along with all of this with you guys, the viewers out there, because somebody else might need to know. Now, first off, I came down here, I opened up the door to the basement, and there was this nasty smell. Absolutely horrible. The basement normally doesn't smell too bad, so obviously right away we knew something was wrong. It's wintertime outside, so we thought maybe something was leaking or seeping or whatever, but it became quite apparent as I got closer to the garden that it was in fact the fish tank. Let me stop the pump for a minute here. So when I first came down here this morning, forgive me, I put you back on the tripod so I can just keep working at it. This tank was absolutely filthy. Like seriously just disgusting. One or two swoops with the net here and it would be absolutely filled. The netting would no longer really process the water that was going through it. I don't know how well it's coming up in the camera, but my fish are so not afraid of the net. They know if they get caught in it, I'll just release them anyway. But anyway, the question really, and lesson really, is what the heck turned my water so completely cloudy overnight? And the answer is traditional processed foods. I found the last of their food stash and I gave it to them last night. I didn't bother to measure it because I figured, well, they've had salad bar for quite some time. I've lost track of how long they've just been on salad bar. And I'm sure that they will absolutely devour this. I didn't give it a second thought. Well, this morning, I was forced to give it a second thought when I came down here and saw how cloudy the water was, because that is the only thing that has changed. Overfeeding your fish with processed foods can quite easily turn pristine water into 10 times worse than this. I have switched out, well, I probably fully replaced the water as far as its volume at this point. I think this thing holds about 30 gallons on average, and I've taken, yeah, about 6 buckets out. I've put about 3 back in using the good old co-op bucket here. But let's see, it doesn't really show up very well in there. Let's pour it into the bucket and you can get some idea, hopefully. Oh, this is a tricky one. You can see just how filthy that water is. Normally my water actually looks a lot cleaner than that. You can't really tell because there's a salad bar floating on top of it, but this is nasty. Alright, I'm going to dump a refill and be right back. Now it seems like I got lucky. I'm not finding any fish bodies in this, and the smell doesn't seem quite like fish body, but I tell you, it is not a happy smell that's going on right now. And this is an important reminder, folks. You need to check on your aquaponic garden pretty much every day. Even if you've got an auto feeder or something, just take a quick look on how your fish are doing. Check the water. If you can keep your fish happy, your garden will be fine. So I have had a lot of people ask me on assorted videos over the years about fish tanks that go pretty much cloudy overnight. And that is, I think in the vast majority of cases, what happens. Processed fish food gets into the system because 98% of the people out there use processed fish food. Especially for, you know, like goldfish, feeder fish. But anyway, that system gets in, the food gets into the system, and it doesn't break down properly, fully, naturally. Take whatever word you want there. and it hangs suspended in your water and becomes just really problematic for your fish. That's going to end up in their gills. That's going to just, yeah, no end of problems. Not to mention, it doesn't really look very nice. The lesson for me in this is that my fish were doing just fine on their natural foods, and that I don't need to worry about picking up any more of that rather expensive fish food. Now granted, the stuff I got these fish, it was good for them. It has been very good for their coloring, and I've never seen a goldfish or a koi suffer for eating the microblith. I do strongly recommend it. But I have, over the last several months, transitioned these once feeder fish to a natural diet. They eat dandelion leaves, they eat lots of sage. Well, actually no, I've only just started putting a little bit of sage in there. They do eat a lot of oregano. That look up at the herb garden above me here. Lots and lots of mint. Good heavens, these guys go through amazing amounts of mint. They've eaten plenty of chard, mashed bananas, leftover split pea soup. Oh my goodness, these guys love the split pea soup. So if you don't dry or wash your dishes right away, right, that'll sometimes turn into little dry flakes on the edge of your pot. I bring those down, crumble them up into the fish tank, and those fish are just right on it. Alright, I need to scoop out a whole bunch more water, but there's no way I'm going to be able to get this back to clean today. However, it is a lot cleaner already from what it was when I started this morning. Like I said, I am woefully negligent in the lesson here for having not gotten my camera out sooner, and I do very much apologize for that, because then you would have really seen exactly what I was talking about. But hopefully, even just now, you can see a bit of a difference. It's a little easier to see those fish. I am going to keep at this and switch a few more buckets out, but I can't change the water too many more times. This does, however, we'll just zoom in on them a little bit, give me an opportunity to talk about why I don't run anything other than goldfish and feeder fish in my gardens. And that is because if I have to do an emergency switch and fill, these guys can take it. The tilapia probably not going to deal with it anywhere near as well. Koi definitely not going to deal with it anywhere near as well. Trout, you need larger bodies of waters for. I can go off on a lot of different species and a lot of different reasons. So ultimately, quick emergency problem solving kind of situations, big part of why I do not run tilapia in my systems yet. Now that said, I've been playing this aquaponic garden game for a good number of years now, and I really should get going with tilapia, especially now that we're trying to get a little bit more self-reliant. If we're going to add chicken and their eggs and rabbits to our diet, I think it's really time to start thinking about adding fish as well. So, alright. By now I have switched out far more water than you safely, or you really safely should, on the average fish tank. So all I can really do at this point is continue trying to clean things out. Here is the pre-filter for that pump that came with the Euro grower from General Hydroponics. I have to admit, it's a pretty decent little garden. Just works better for me as an aquaponic garden. Now seems like a pretty good time to clean this filter out. See what kind of filth you can get out of there. Oh my. I hope this is coming up on the camera, because this water is getting dark. As soon as I turn that pump back on, that's going to clear this water up for us nicely, because that was clearly blocking a lot of stuff. Good heavens. I think maybe I'll run the pump for a cycle and then do that again in some fresh water. You see how nasty that looks? Well, it's been about half an hour with the pump running straight, trying to suck in some of that particulate matter. And as I said, I don't think I'll get this back to its standard state of clear. Not today, maybe in the next few days. I mean, it will happen eventually. So I've thrown a little bit of mint and a little bit of parsley in there for them so they can have some, what I feel is proper food. And I suspect they do as well, because they certainly didn't eat anywhere near as much of that processed fish food as I had expected. So clearly they are quite happy with the natural diet. I think that's the biggest lesson in this, is if at all possible, try and transition your fish to a natural diet. Good vibrant colors, and it makes for cleaner water. Of course, they're all on the other side of the tank right now. Back to their diva moments, I suppose. But yes, the biggest lesson here, as I was saying, is whenever possible, feed your fish a natural diet. If you can't do that, well, do everything in your power to make sure, well, let's just say it'd be better to slightly underfeed them than to overfeed them. So, kind of like plants that way, really. A little bit better underfeeding than overfeeding. Check back on this in a little while, maybe another half hour or so. See how it's looking then. I'm already pretty pleased with it though. In the meanwhile, let's head over to the Darwin table. You may notice I actually cleaned things up here today. Here we have what I thought were going to be those Naga Viper seeds from Punky, but she suggested that they may in fact be the actual blueberry cherry tomato seeds, and inside here I may find the Naga Viper seeds. So I've started pre-soaking a little bit more of my peat moss in one of these handy dandy dollar store trays. If I had known how useful these things were going to be to me, I would have bought hundreds of them. But anyway, pre-soaking that. Once it gets to a moisture level I like, we're going to start investigating what's inside this package from Punky. Okay, one thing I've got to say as I dive into this is that these little seed packages are adorable. Reminds me rather a lot of passing notes back in junior high. Come on, open for daddy. And let's just see what we've got inside. See, those do look like tomato seeds to me. Ah! And quite a few of them. So, yes. I'm not entirely sure I am going to plant some of these, because they definitely look like mater seeds. So thank you very much for sending me a ton of tomatoes, but I am going to wait until February to start those. No maters before March. Still have to put that up as graffiti down here, but okay, cool, thank you very much, very awesome, but I'm not planting those just yet. So for a closer examination here, we've got a few different variety of pepper seeds, and there's a distinct difference. Like, there's one of them, those ones are really fresh, these ones not so much, but still, right, there are some consistencies. Here's another variety. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. We have some consistencies. So I do believe that that package of tomato seeds is tomato seeds. So thank you. But I was going to plant some peppers, so I guess these yellow ghost seeds, open pollinated, I think these might have been taken from dehydrated peppers, or might have been taken from a few yellow ghosts that grew in the yard. Alright, either way, planting some of these. Actually, you know what? Check that. I'm going to run upstairs. I think I still saved a few of those seeds. Let's pan back out. Yeah, I'm going to go see what those look like. Alright, so here we are looking at the package of seeds. And no, Punky, you totally sent me pepper seeds here, which is frankly what I expected. I am way more inclined to believe that those clearly tomato plants are from an issue in my soil recycling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these, clearly pepper seeds, into this just peat moss. We'll see what grows. Alright, now if we still get tomato seeds out of it, or tomato seedlings out of it I should say, that's just weird. Alright, so I'm just going to take the back of my paintbrush here, checking around. Things seem to kind of say peppers should be about 1/4 inch down, which makes me think I've been putting my pepper seeds way too far down in the past. Alright, and definitely look like pepper seeds. So, there we go. 1, 2, come on, 3, 4. Wish I had a thumbnail. Come on. Come on. 5, 6. Do I have enough left? Perfect. 7, 8, 9, and one more for luck. We'll double that up in the center. May they both sprout well and true. Give those a little push. Now, where is my eyedropper? Since I've got them exposed, I'm just going to put a little bit of water right on there. So I didn't soak these first. I actually didn't think I had left any of these. Hence, we just ran up and checked on it now. But anyway, 10 clearly pepper seeds down for the Naga Viper that Punky sent me. I'm just going to grab a little bit of peat moss to sprinkle over the top of that. So yeah, no worries. There's absolutely no way you sent the wrong seeds there, Punky. Like I said earlier, I didn't think it was a mess up on your end. It makes way more sense that I screwed up here with my soil recycling. So thank you very much. Let us all hope for, who knows, maybe even 10 little seedlings. That'd make for a nice hot spice for next year. Alright. Could be an interesting year. It's already been a very interesting start. I guess while we're chatting about the 2019 season starts, we might as well take a look at these random compost mystery peppers. Some of them are already looking like they need to be shaken over the fish tank. Not a big deal. Got some nice growth on a few of these plants though. So that could be fascinating. Be nice to see some true leaves coming up out of this one. It's probably one of the more recent additions, just like this one's probably one of the more recent additions. Here we've got, this was in the little tiny glass, or little tiny disposable cup, but I just switched it over straight into the net cup because that does fit. We've already got a little bit of new root growth coming out of there. So that's very interesting. I wonder how sizable a pepper can get in that particular setup. And yeah, the loaf pan is coming along. A few spider plants in the back, but they don't necessarily count towards next year's garden, do they? And I think that's where we're going to wrap it up today, folks. The pup's upstairs whining away. I think he wants to go outside. And usually that pitch of whine is about 5 minutes away from, I told you I had to go outside. So yes, really that is just a kind of a quick, if you've got cloudy water in your fish tanks or aquaponic gardens, I would say look at the amount of what you're feeding them, and well, look at the quality of it too. Go natural when you can. Net out as much as you can, especially if you don't have such a sturdy species of fish as your standard goldfish or feeder fish. Anywho, if you're still around at this point, thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and good luck on your own fish keeping and aquaponic gardening adventures. Take care, everybody. Here we are, a quick postscript clip about 2 hours later. It's a lot easier to see all the way to the bottom now, and look at that sponge that I had just cleaned off. So yeah, I'm just going to leave this thing running. The garden up above doesn't seem to be suffering for it, so I'm going to leave it going. Tomorrow morning I'm going to clean that sponge out again, and this should be good to go for a fish cam next couple of days. Nice, about time. I still see no floaters. Looks like everybody survived. Alright folks, thanks for sticking around. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and I will definitely see you next on Sunday.